Hamefura, or My Next Life as a Villainess, has been on my radar since the anime was announced, and honestly maybe even before that, because I have peeked at the light novel. I have seen the covers, I've seen the synopsis. It always interested me, because seeing a main female character taking the role from what is usually a male character role within these type of series instantly piques my interest. But then, to extend it even further, it's interesting to see how she's pretty much a villain character, but trying not to be a villain within the world that she's kind of been reincarnated into. If you haven't already caught on to what this series is about by the title or about what I just said, then I think you might need to go watch some more anime. It is a isekai, transported to another world or reincarnated in another world. That is what this series is about. Now, instantly, if you're a fan of this type of series, then you're gonna love it, because if you like Overlord and you like stuff like that, like a character being like in an evil role and all that, then you might like this. Now, there is some differences, obviously. Like I already said, the main female character that has been reincarnated as the Villainess isn't trying to be evil. She's basically started at origin point 0. For instance, right at the beginning of the story of what this game world is, and she is the villain character, she knows the story, and she doesn't want to end up like what happened to the villain within the story, because within the story, the Villainess actually either gets exiled and loses everything, or she dies. So, obviously, both of those are very bad endings, because she isn't technically the main female character of the story. She is the villain that is causing problems within the world of the story. So, because of that, it puts this story in a very interesting position, because, like I said, if you like Overlord, you're gonna like this because you have a villain character. But it doesn't stop there. It makes you wonder, if she can actually change her character's background and not really be evil, or is destiny already set? There is a lot of questions I have, so let's get right into it. So, one of the big things I was thinking about while watching this first episode of My Next Life as a Villainess is that, can the future destiny be changed? Because everything we know of from this first episode is that she played this game when she was still in her other world at the age of 17 playing games. She played this, she beat it, and she knows the outcomes of the good, the bad ending, etc., true ending. She knows how the game ends, and she knows what happens to the female villain. So when you really think about it, can that scenario be changed? Can she actually change the ending outcome, where she is either exiled or dies? Now, I'm going to assume it's not going to end up like that, but I feel like that this is going to be a major plot point within the story, that she's going to come to terms and realize that maybe the future or destiny itself cannot be changed, because there's many instances throughout this episode to where things were being set up towards that plot line of the story. Even if it necessarily there was some distinct differences, it definitely was navigating down that road of her, making mistakes and eventually being a villain character. Example, with her stepbrother that was introduced within the story, it's, it made it assume that, or made you assume that maybe she might cause problems, make him isolate himself, and he might actually end up like he was in the main game. Now, it does kind of gear towards that, and she does change things by opening up the door, breaking it down, and being able to allow him to see the light. It's very symbolic, and I do love that scene quite a bit throughout this first episode, and it honestly was just 100% wholesome. It was a great wholesome moment, and I really do want more of that. This series does really feel very wholesome. But, okay, getting back on topic, though, the point is that she did, in some way, change the future. It kind of answers the question I already asked, but can the major outcome be changed? Because I highly doubt it can, because that's kind of the main interesting plot point of this story, is that she's trying to rewrite this character's life. So, can she do that? Is it possible? And will we find out interesting quirks that maybe the main female character is actually probably the main villain of the story? Now, that would be very interesting if that is where the story navigates towards. But okay, so anyways, let's talk about other little details throughout the episode, like art and animation, voice acting, and all that, the opening song. There is a lot of good content throughout this first episode. Number one, art and animation. It fits the vibe, the fantasy vibe, or, the medieval times and all that. It really does fit that style. It isn't anything like crazy. It isn't like no Gleipnir that you see from the other anime that I reviewed today, but it does have beautiful art and animation, and I do think that it isn't necessarily bad, and it fits the, you know, the tone of the story being very cutesy, wholesome, with some serious moments here and there, which, speaking of the tone and comedy and all that, there is quite a bit of comedy. I didn't really expect as much comedy from this series as I did when I first heard about it. Like, I figured it was going to be a full serious story, but there is a lot of comedy, a lot of funny moments, especially with, you know, our main female character being in very awkward situations, like, for instance, being a farmer slash gardener, her parents walking in, you know, the one that she's kind of, you know, gonna marry in the future, you know, she is in an awkward position, she's dressed up all dirty, not acting like a princess. It's hilarious. I do like that dynamic, it's very funny, but then you also have the stuff with how she's just really trying her best to interact with her new stepbrother, have a little brother, and not make him upset and isolate himself to where, you know, she gets a bad ending. There's a lot of themes there, and the comedy definitely hit the right notes for me. Now, comedy is subjective, so not everybody's going to enjoy the comedy as much as I did, but if you like wholesome comedy and like little awkward moment comedy, then here you go. Now, when it comes to the opening song is catchy. I don't think it's going to be the best opening song of the season, but I do think it's a catchy opening. I do think that many are going to be a big fan of it. I know I'm going to be listening to it quite a bit. I'm probably not going to skip the opening song because it is really enjoyable. So, yeah. So, overall, is it a series worth watching? Yes, I do think that it is worth watching because, like I said, you don't get many main female character isekai series, and this is very unique. I mean, it's not following a main male character being transported to another world becoming the hero. It's not, you know, a character being trapped in a game and all that, and, you know, I guess becoming very overpowered. You know, this is very different. We have a female character trapped into a visual novel game that's pretty much just about the end route of romance, and she has to not be evil. Yeah, so it's an interesting story. I'm honestly looking forward to more. I'm gonna watch more. I'm honestly excited, and I can't wait to see more of this. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoy this series, let me know. I'm curious how you feel about it. Do you think that this might be one of the best series of this season, or do you think it's gonna fall off? And light novel readers, how was the adaptation? Was it good? Was it bad? Let me know. Very curious. But with that, I love you guys. Be safe. Stay healthy. If you enjoy my content, please subscribe. If you like this video, please leave a like. And with that, Chibi out.